Hello, my name is Christine Lee, and today my partner Elena Singh and I will be presenting our study on the role of 2D versus 3D exploration in video game mediated environmental enrichment. Previous work has found that video games can positively affect memory formation and cognition. Hosseini 2022 found that action video games can enhance executive functions such as flexibility and continuous attention. Clemenson in 2015 found that playing 3D video games can improve detail memory and hippocampal functions. In Clemenson 2015, young adults were assigned to a 2D treatment group playing Angry Birds, a 3D treatment group playing Super Mario, or a control group playing Solitaire. After a 2-week intervention period, it was found that participants in the 3D group experienced a significant increase in their hippocampal-based memory. However, the question remains of what aspect of video games is driving this improvement in memory. In Dr. Clemenson's study, we saw that a 3D exploration game, Super Mario, provided greater environmental enrichment effects than a non-exploration 2D game, Angry Birds. As such, we were curious if 2D exploration games would confer the same level of enrichment as 3D exploration games. We hypothesized that 2D exploration games would confer the same level of cognitive benefit to hippocampal functions as 3D exploration games do.
One of the tools used was the mnemonic similarity task, otherwise known as the MST, which assesses hippocampal memory. In this task, participants are shown pictures of different objects and are asked to classify them as old, similar, or new. The first set of images would all be new. For example, the picnic basket, clover, saxophone, and seahorse are all new. But then you may see the clover again, and this time it would be classified as old. The rubber duck again would be new. You may see another picnic basket, which would be considered similar because it is highly similar but not exactly the same as our previous picnic basket. Same with the seahorse. Another tool was See Hero Quest, a spatial navigation task with two types of levels, wayfinding and path integration. In the wayfinding levels, individuals memorize markers labeled as 1, 2, or 3 on a map. Then, the map is taken away and they have to navigate to the labeled areas in the indicated order. In the path integration level, subjects explore a given area to find a specific target and then send a flare back to their initial location. Previous studies utilizing See Hero Quest have demonstrated success in distinguishing individuals who have an increased genetic risk for Alzheimer's disease based on their navigation performance. Our goal was to see how 2D versus 3D gameplay may influence spatial navigation and memory, which is also a hippocampal-specific function. For our study, we had a longitudinal design focusing on young adults. Computers were the main platform for the game. 4 of our participants played Garden Story, which was our 2D game. 3 people played A Short Hike, which was our 3D game. And for our control group, participants were to maintain their previous gaming habits with no new exposures. 2 of our participants were excluded for non-compliance, leaving us with the final N of 3 in the control group. On day 1, participants did the MST See Hero Quest and a questionnaire. Days 2 through 5, the experimental groups played 1 hour of their assigned game a day for 4 days. The control groups had no intervention treatment. On day 6, all groups completed the MST See Hero Quest and post-study survey.
And now for the results. The 3D treatment group saw improvements in their hippocampal memory, whereas the 2D and control groups did not. Here we have the same data presented in a line graph. More on this later. The changes in hippocampal memory experienced by the 3D group's post-study period were different compared to the control group. There were no significant changes in recognition memory for any group.
The key findings from our experiment were that 3D games offer enrichment that boosts hippocampal memory. 2D games may offer a weaker or diminished level of enrichment than 3D games.
Going back to our line graph, we see a general trending increase in hippocampal memory in the 3D group. This is consistent with the increase in hippocampal memory observed in the 3D group of Dr. Clemenson's work with young adults. In addition, we also noticed a general increase in hippocampal memory of our 2D group, which is different from the trend observed in Dr. Clemenson's 2015 2D group. However, this increase mirrors the trend observed in the 2D group in Dr. Clemenson's follow-up study with older adults done in 2020. While both the 2015 and 2020 study utilized Angry Birds as the 2D treatment, there may have been increased enrichment effects for the older adults, as younger adults were more likely to have had prior exposure to Angry Birds. As such, it is a possibility that the type of video game, be it exploration or puzzle-based, as well as the prior exposure, may influence the level of hippocampal enrichment video games offer.
Future studies may investigate the effects of 2D video games in older populations or modifying the gaming duration and frequencies. Exploring how a game platform affects environmental enrichment is another idea. We'd like to have a quick thank you to Slidesco, and thank you to Europe for funding the study and to the Stark Lab for all their support.
Thank you to Luke for helping us navigate the logistical aspects of running a study and for being incredibly patient with us throughout this whole process.
Thank you to Jess for being such a kind and wonderful mentor.
Lastly, thank you, Dr. Stark, for all your guidance, feedback on statistical approach, and encouragement.
We have truly enjoyed working at the Stark Lab in the past 2 years, and we will take what we have learned as we pursue onto our future endeavors. Thank you so much for your time.